Welcome to Tales from the Darkroom, where every shadow hides a story, and every whisper might be calling your name. Tonight's story comes from the misty mountains of central Java, a place steeped in ancient folklore and chilling legends. Locals call it Kuil Terlarang, the Forbidden Shrine. The rain fell hard, drumming against Artie's windshield like frantic fingers trying to get in. His car wound through a narrow, treacherous mountain road. He had been driving for hours, lost, hungry, and getting more desperate by the minute to find a shortcut back to town. He'd been warned about these roads after dark, but pride had pushed him forward. His GPS flickered one last time and died. No signal, just the relentless hum of the rain and the dark, looming outlines of ancient trees pressing in on the road. They felt like silent, watching giants. Then, out of the suffocating darkness, a figure appeared. A girl standing right in the middle of the road. She was wearing a soaked white kebaya, her long black hair plastered to her face, water dripping from the ends. Artie slammed the brakes. The tires screeched on the wet asphalt, the car lurching to a stop just inches from where she'd been. But when the car was still, she was gone, vanished into the storm. A low rumble of thunder echoed through the valley, as if the mountains themselves were groaning. He threw open the door, his heart pounding in his chest, shouting into the relentless downpour, "Hey, are you okay?" Silence. The rain seemed to swallow his voice whole. There was no reply. Just footprints, small, bare footprints, leading away from the road and into the consuming darkness of the forest. Against every screaming instinct, Artie followed them. His flashlight beam trembled, cutting a weak, nervous path through the pitch-black woods. The air grew thick, heavy with the scent of wet earth and something else, something old and decaying. The darkness felt alive, swallowing the light almost as soon as it left the torch. After a few minutes of pushing through wet undergrowth, he found it, a small moss-covered shrine, tucked away in a tiny clearing. It looked ancient, forgotten. Incense bowls were shattered on the ground. Offerings of fruit and flowers were rotten, covered in a blanket of mold. And there, leaning against the stone, was a single wooden plaque. The carving was faint, but he could just make it out. Untuk mereka yang hilang, for the lost. A shiver, cold and sharp, traced its way down his spine. He knelt closer, curiosity overriding his fear, brushing away the mud from the inscription. At that exact moment, his phone vibrated in his pocket. He pulled it out, confused. There was no signal here, but a new message had appeared on the screen. No number, no sender, just 3 words. Don't turn around. His breath caught in his throat. He heard a sound, a soft, rhythmic dripping right behind him. It wasn't rain, it was slower, thicker. Fighting the terror that was paralyzing him, he slowly, reluctantly turned. The girl was standing there. Her bare feet were sinking into the mud. Her eyes were black, empty voids. Her face, illuminated by his trembling flashlight, was as pale as ash. She hadn't moved. She was just there, waiting. "Why did you come back?" she whispered. Her voice was faint, like the rustle of dead leaves, yet it cut through the sound of the rain. "Back?" Artie stammered, his mind racing. I've never been here before." She tilted her head slowly, a sickening crackle echoing from her neck. Her lips stretched into a smile that was impossibly, unnaturally wide. Then, "You will stay." As the words left her lips, the forest seemed to come alive. The wind howled, whipping through the trees, making the branches creak and groan like old bones. Roots, thick as pythons, began to twist and writhe on the forest floor. Shadows bent and stretched, reaching for him like long, skeletal fingers. And then came the whispers. They filled the air, hundreds of voices overlapping, a cacophony of lost souls. "Join us. Stay here. Forever." Panic seized him. Artie turned and ran. He bolted through the trees, not caring where he was going. Branches tore at his shirt, scratching his skin. He tripped, his flashlight flying from his hand and shattering against a rock, plunging him into near-total darkness. He scrambled back to his feet and stumbled onto the road, gasping for breath, his lungs burning. In the distance, a flicker of hope. his car headlights cutting through the fog. He ran towards it, relief flooding through him. But as he got closer, his pace slowed. He froze. Inside the car, behind the fogged-up windshield, sat the girl. Her head turned slowly, mechanically toward him, and her mouth curled into that same horrifying, unnatural smile. Days later, a search team was dispatched to find the missing driver, Eerie. They found his phone near the moss-covered shrine. The last video file on it was corrupted, glitching and distorted, but a small part of it still played. It was Eerie's face, captured in the phone's front camera, shaking violently. He was whispering, his eyes wide with terror. "They're all here. The missing villagers, they're inside the forest. The girl, she says the shrine needs new souls to stay alive." Then another voice, a whisper right next to the microphone. It was the girl's. "Eerie, don't run." The screen went black. Locals say if you ever find yourself driving through the old Wonosari road on a rainy night, you might see her. A girl in a white kebaya standing by the forest edge. If you stop her, she'll show you the way to the shrine. But they warn you, once you follow her into those woods, you'll never come back. You've just heard The Forbidden Shrine, a story from the shadows, brought to you by Tales from the Dark Room. If you enjoyed the darkness, remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, be careful what shadows you step into.